Hi there, my name's Paulie and welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to reveal my experiences and revelations as far as the blues scale is concerned. And while what I'm going to show you is probably more in the context of the blues scale, a lot of what I will show will be applicable to other genres of music. Also, before I get started, I just want to say I'm no expert at blues guitar. I'm not pretending to be an expert. I just believe that whether you're a beginner or an advanced player or a seasoned professional, everybody is a student of the guitar and everybody has something to offer and something to learn from somebody else. So let's move on. So when I first started playing guitar, I learned a bunch of stuff, and one of them was the 12-bar blues progression. And shortly thereafter, I was shown the first position blues scale, which is pentatonic minor with a flat fifth. Now that became the basis of all of my lead playing and improvisation from then on. And I used it for blues and rock and roll and quite often some rock stuff. But what I found was, especially with the blues, I was always, and with rock and roll, I always heard other notes in there that weren't in the blues scale. And I was like, if this is the blues scale, how come they're using all of these other notes? And how come they work? Well, it led me to actually find out what notes they were using and try and find out or work out how they fit into the realm musically. And I mean, I had no access to theory and things whatsoever, and no one to really step me through it. So what I ended up finding was that basically you can use every note on the fingerboard during a 12-bar blues progression at some point. You can't use all of the notes all of the time. Some notes are just passing notes, some notes are only applicable during certain chords, and so on and so forth. So what I'm here today to show you is how I look at the fingerboard and how I utilise those extra notes without sort of things getting out of hand and it all going wrong. So let's zoom in on the fingerboard and I'll show you the first few things. Okay, so if we're going to use every note on the fingerboard at some point, or at least have the potential to, we need some sort of a reference point. We need a framework or a blank canvas, you know, that we can add colour and flavour and spice to by adding those extra notes. Something to go to and from. And what I've chosen to do that with is pentatonic minor, which is more or less very close to the blues scale minus that flat fifth. So it looks like this. Now, let's hear what that sounds like. I'm sure you've all heard it before. Okay, so you get the idea. I was trying not to do too many bends and things, but to go, you know, outside of that scale. So from here, what can we do to add a little bit more flavour? Well, one of the things you can do is move that whole shape down 3 frets so that the start of the pattern or the top of the pattern is actually on your A note again instead of the bottom of the pattern, if you know what I mean. And play off that. What we end up with is the 5th position of the pentatonic major. So I'll start off in that, then I'll go back to the pentatonic minor and back to the major again, just sort of randomly, and you'll hear what I mean. So you kind of get what that sounds like now. So the next thing is, while it is really convenient to jump up and down, you know, those 3 frets between the major and the minor, there is an easier way to go about it and a better way to integrate the two together. What we do is take the 1st position pentatonic major, and we mix that with the pentatonic minor in the 1st position. And we end up with something that looks like this. Let's hear what that sounds like. So now you've heard that major and minor together, and that by itself is a pretty good tool to use with your blues playing. Well, let's go one little step further. The next obvious step is to add in that flat 5th that was in the blues scale earlier on that we talked about, which appears in A, where I'm playing, to B right here. So if we're playing the minor, that's it. That's it. So let's hear what the major, minor and the flat 5th all together sound like. So you get the drift, and there's actually a bunch of notes there, a big bunch of notes that are semitones apart. That are either from the major pentatonic or from the minor pentatonic or that flat 5th. So as you can see, the fingerboard is really starting to look a little more filled out, but that's not the end of the story. There's still more to go after that. So I hope you found this video interesting, informative and enlightening, and I hope my playing wasn't too unbearable. in future videos of this series, which I'm not quite sure whether there'll be one or two at this stage, just depending on how things fit in, we'll talk about more passing notes or blue notes. Also, we'll look at those quarter tones and where they hide and how we can use them and how they sound really bluesy. Some of you probably already use them and you just don't know that you're doing it. Also, if I've got the time, we'll look at following the progression a little bit more and being aware of what chord is actually being played when we're improvising and how we can use that to our effect. Anyway, I'll catch you later. Have a good day. And give us a thumbs up if you liked the video. And don't forget to subscribe. I'll catch you later.